This is
Dude,
the most
these are
depressing
awful.
game I've ever played.
It is, man. I'm like really sad. And there's still more.
This ain't no game, Flash.
Up next, we discuss the downfall of Bruce Willis's career. And if you like that, click the like button.
Like that.
So out on October 12th, Bruce Willis is putting out another video-on-demand gem on Blu-ray called Survive the Game. And when I saw this box art, it really reminded me of so much other Bruce Willis box art that I've seen like countless times come out where he just seems so lifeless, so one note, staring ahead, just like a look.
Fuck!
What really kind of grabbed me was in this particular one, him in general really specifically reminded me of something that I had seen like not even that long ago, another video-on-demand movie that had come out for Bruce Willis called Midnight in the Switchgrass, starring him. Of course. Yeah, of course. Starring him and Megan Fox. And I realized it's literally the same picture of Bruce Willis. He just has a different shirt, tie, and police badge on.
I have another theory.
Like, what's going on here?
I believe those are two separate photos. Bruce Willis has been frozen since about 2003.
Dude, what has happened to Bruce Willis? Like, what happened to him? Like, I haven't really been paying that close attention to Bruce Willis's career, but every so often he throws something out there that is just, you know, something like this, where you're like, what movie is he starring in? When is he going to be in something big again? But it just seems to be this on repeat. So then when you go back and you look at his past, like, I don't even know, 5 to 10 years worth of films, they're all like this, like literally every single one. And now it's to the point where they're not even asking him to come in to shoot new photos for the box art. It's like, we'll just Photoshop an existing headshot of Bruce Willis from, I don't know, the last movie he put out, stick it on this cover, and nobody will know. But I noticed. I saw it. So what I thought we could do, Russ, is take a look at some of his most recent films. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the poster with the name removed, and I want you to try to guess what this movie is called. It will be multiple choice so that you have some frame of reference, because some of these are just head scratching. And maybe everybody that's watching this video at home, see if you can guess what these movies were titled.
Okay. It's riddle time.
Before we begin, let me reiterate by stating I am a Bruce Willis fan. The Last Boy Scout is one of my favorite movies of all time.
He's in my favorite movie of all time. But I mean, he's been in classic movies that are, you know, going to be revered as classics forever. So this is the first one here, Russ, and I also want you to pay attention too, if you can, to how many police badges you see. That's another thing to kind of keep a tab on. Take a shot every time you see one. What do you think this movie is called? Is it Out of Death, Survive the Night, or Hard Kill?
Ooh.
Out of Death, Survive the Night, Hard Kill.
Judging by Bruce's exasperated look, I'm going to go with Out of Death.
Out of Death? It's Out of Death. Congratulations, you got it. It's Out of Death.
Fucking stupid.
And the other thing that I noticed on all of these posters is Bruce Willis is always billed last. He's never billed first in any of them. It's always Cole Hauser, Chad Michael Murray. They're always billed before Bruce Willis. But yeah, so this tagline says, protect what's yours. And that's exactly what Bruce Willis looks like. Again, you can see he's got a badge on. So Russ, do you think this one's called Acts of Violence, First Kill, or Fire with Fire?
All right, this may be cheating, but I can kind of sense by the way the title is blocked out that it's 3 words. So I'm going to go with...
Or is it?
What was it? Fire with Fire?
Fire with Fire.
I'm going to go with Fire with Fire.
And this one is titled Acts of Violence. Acts of Violence, another Bruce Willis classic. And look at him here. He really is staring pretty sternly ahead, like he's...
See, I should have focused on his glare.
His glare gives it away.
His glare is saying, I'm about to commit acts of violence
Acts of
against
violence.
you, Cole.
I'm gonna get help!
Now here's one which puts Bruce Willis in space. There's been a couple of space Bruce Willis action films I've seen come out. This is one of 2 that has recently come out. And again, you've got Cody Kearsley here, top billed. Bruce Willis number 2, but he's prominent on the poster. He's kind of staring. He kind of looks like he's in an old age home. He's just blankly staring ahead, like lifelessly again. So is this one Reprisals, Marauders, or Breach?
This man looks like he's been breached. I'm going to go with Breach.
It's Breach.
Oh, my fucking dick is hard already.
Oh.
Deep space.
Whoa.
Deep in space. They are not alone here with Bruce Willis.
Is Breach available on 4K?
It is not yet. Not yet.
You should know.
Now here we have Hayden Christensen and Bruce Willis. Hayden Christensen from the prequel Star Wars trilogy movies, Darth Vader. Is this one called 10 Minutes Gone, First Kill, or Cold Light of Day?
Cold Light of Day sounds like some corny, badass title that I could picture this being called.
Cold Light of Day, and it is First Kill. First Kill, Russ. This is First Kill, not Cold Light of Day. But did you look at his eyes? Did you look at what he's looking off at?
No.
So the next one we have here, Chad Michael Murray, who is also in his most recent film. Again, vintage Willis here, classic look. You've got the badge, police badge, front and center. They want you really to know that he's a police officer. You've got to know that. If he's not one, then you might not want to watch this movie. You've got to see him as a police officer. In the bottom of the picture here, there's like a family being held hostage, and Bruce Willis is not having it. So is this Survive the Night, The Prince, or Extraction?
Willis looks a bit pensive on this cover.
He does look pensive.
He looks pensive. So I'm going to go, what were my
Survive
options?
the Night, The Prince, and Extraction.
You're gonna lose.
Extraction. I think somebody's trying to take something from Bruce here.
And it is Survive the Night.
Jesus.
He's ready to survive the night. He's up all night, and he's ready to survive it. Bruce Willis, everyone. All right, next. Jesse Metcalf and Bruce Willis take on a madman and save the world. And again, I'm going to say that they don't really show him from the neck down, but I'm willing to guess that he's got a police badge or some sort of identification that he is with law enforcement.
His face says cop.
Fire with fire, hard kill, 10 minutes gone. What's it going to be this time? Fire with fire.
Willis looks remorseful here. He looks like, someone came in and said, hey, break time's over, bud. Get back to work. Wasn't finished his sandwich. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with...
he didn't finish his sandwich.
10 sandwiches gone. Starring Bruce Willis. That's my answer.
Nope.
Hard kill. Hard kill. This
is depressing. This is the most depressing game I've ever played.
It is, man. I'm like really sad. And there's still more. I really am. It's sad.
This is like 90% of Bruce Willis's filmography
It's
at
like
this point.
And he's like pumping these out like once every 3 months. Like they just feel like they're never ending.
Demi Moore got to eat.
Here's another one which has Bruce Willis. He's got a goatee here. He's a little gray, a little weathered, and now he's working with Christopher Maloney and Dave Bautista. And is this going to be Cold Light of Day, Marauders, or Precious Cargo?
Given that Bruce is looking to the left here, a little shadowy, suggests this might be more of an ensemble piece.
Okay.
You got Christopher Maloney.
Sure do.
I know Dave Bautista tries to distance himself from the wrestling world by picking great films like this.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with Marauders.
Marauders.
Midnight Marauders.
You would be right.
It's a miracle!
How many was that you've gotten right so far? Is that number 3? Maybe number 2. How many FBI or police badges has he had?
Oh, that's right. Sometimes you forget I'm a detective.
Now, here's one with a favorite of mine, actually, Frank Grillo. I mean, he's kind of in the VOD world also, but he's been in a couple of things that I really enjoyed his performances. He usually gives it 100%, and Bruce Willis does not look like he's ready to give anything 100%, but I'm sure Frank Grillo is acting his ass off around this guy.
Actually, Bruce looks like he's baffled by such amazing acting chops.
Bruce is like, how did I get cast with?
How do I become Frank Grillo?
How do I get as good as Frank?
Why am I on this poster?
I know on the bottom here, you've got some heat level scenario with, a stolen ambulance, somebody in riot gear, and a machine gun. Is this Once Upon a Time in Venice,
Probably.
Vice, or Reprisal? Once Upon a Time in Venice, Vice, or Reprisal?
I'm going to say Once Upon a Time in Venice.
Okay, and you would be wrong in this instance. It's Reprisal.
Shit.
Reprisal. A life for a life, Russ. So that should have been your key. Reprisal,
for a life.
a life for a life.
When you're done feeling sorry for yourself, the front door's that way.
So we got one left. Finally, thankfully, I don't know that I could take another one. And this was a little bit of an easy one.
Who is Nikki Whalen?
So Nikki Whalen, of course, getting top bill here
Who is
over Bruce Willis. Who knows? Bruce Willis looking angry, unsure. He's kind of clenched looking, I think. I don't know what those lips are doing, but there's his badge, shiny, front and center. as always. Would you guess, Russ, that this one's called The Prince, Fire with Fire, or The Trauma Center?
The background, the setting in this poster.
Yes.
Hayden Panettiere looks like she is in a hospital.
She is she's in a gown.
Good point.
Yes.
Excellent point. I'm going to go with the Trauma Center.
You're right, the Trauma Center. And they even use the cross there for the T. And I don't know
that
if
was
this
a nice touch.
Is this Die Hard but in a hospital?
You got me.
Die Hard in a hospital. That posits so many questions.
That's what it looks
about
like.
life and death and the meaning of you're in a hospital.
Yes.
The threat. I mean, this is deep stuff.
It's deep. It's deep. That's why Bruce Willis signed on, him and Nikki Whelan. They said, we got to get in on this. So that's just a little bit of a walkthrough, Bruce's career here. And here's just a couple others that we didn't show, but mention the name. So you got 10 Minutes Gone with Michael Chiklis. Again, there's Bruce looking off to the side of the poster. It's always him and his co-star looking in opposite directions. The Photoshop artist does that, where they just take their random assortment of Bruce Willis heads out of the bin there, and they say, okay, which Bruce Willis head am I going to use for this shit? And then here's Fire with Fire. We brought that up a couple times. You got Josh Duhamel and Rosario Dawson.
Rosario Dawson.
Yep.
This game gets more depressing with each poster.
Revenge has its own set of rules, and it looks like someone's taking revenge on Bruce Willis and has made him live in this purgatory where he has to just keep on pumping these out. I feel bad. I like Bruce Willis. Sorry, all the Bruce Willis fans out there. Much respect to Bruce Willis and his family. I just felt like compelled that we had to share what's been happening with him lately.
If you know what Willis is talking about, make sure you like this video, subscribe to 4K Kings, and do your part in supporting and keeping physical media alive.
And supporting Bruce Willis because he needs to eat.